Hey everybody, welcome to a year-end report for Broken Hammer Games and for all for Destiny Father's Story, all the projects we do. We like to do these reports at the end of the year to kind of review kind of where we've been, where we're going, and what happened that was really good, what happened, what was really bad. So those that have been following us, you know what the plan is. So those that are new, welcome, and hopefully learn and get some insights on game development that we've been experiencing for years now. We're pretty much a remote studio overall. What we do, and we kind of contract out around the world, various places. So there's some pros and there's some cons with that. The pros is, we can bring in a lot of talent. We can get people going. The cons is that we can't really bring them into the office and say get to work all the time. So yeah, we had a bit of that this year, mostly in Europe. There was a lot of stuff going on in Europe throughout the year, and it's kind of impacted the dev cycles over there. Unfortunately, most of Dust and Air development is done in Europe. So we have our UK, Ireland, their team in that area, and they were just dealing with stuff over there. And then we also have Italy. Right now, Georgie's in Italy, and yeah, there was... he had mess after mess after mess this year, so it was just one of those things that we were kind of glad that we had Project 2 kicking into high gear so we could shift something onto that right now as we figure things out. We are, because the artwork on the Project 2 side for Father's Story is wrapping up, so we're getting a bit of that done. We were pretty much all wrapped up, and then when we were reviewing things, we noticed a few areas, so we're having John do those right now. We also had an art piece by Ingrid. She's branching out. For those that have been following us, Ingrid's one of our modeler for Project 2 Father's Story, and she's done all the character models really beautifully, really wonderful done. But she didn't do like backgrounds, she didn't do like major key image work, and so that's kind of why we have like two artists that are working. We have the modeler, and we have John that does the backgrounds, and he also does key image work and such. So the art styles are contrasting a bit at times, but we didn't want to expand more than that because we know it's like people get used to a certain style, and they're like, oh, and then when you throw in too many styles, it messes it up. So we got. I guess all this has encouraged her to expand her art skills, so she started into key image work, and we said, well, let's go ahead and do a contract piece with her so she can figure this out and really get it down better. And it turned out wonderfully. In fact, it turned out so good I can't even show it because for the Father's Story, it might be. We have a temporary cover image and stuff on there with the star and such and the Father's Story text, but her image is so good it might be the actual cover for the entire game. It's fantastic. It was supposed to be just an end shot scene as the game closes, but now we're just like, this is too good. It's beautiful. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to use it for in the days ahead, but we'll see it, and it is an iconic image. It's the type which the moment we saw it, we were just like, oh wow, we could see that going on t-shirts and everything, and people really like it because it's really good. So, yeah, that got done, wrapped up in this last month, towards the end of the year. As you know, we're still moving forward step by step on that. We're going to be talking with musicians and such this month. I actually got a meeting with one probably within about a week here. We're kind of working out the times after the new year and everything like that. But, yeah, we're moving forward, trying to get our musical talent in order. We're also, we checked out a few UI artists and UI designers for Unity. We did dabble a little bit on our own and trying to get the UI right, and at the end it's like we're kind of leaning towards, let's just see if we somebody that does this regularly, and we'll see about just bringing them on and hiring them for the job, and then we'll have it a lot more professionally looking and such. So we are doing that. Overall, that is looking good going into 2025. We're leaning towards right now our launch date. Possibly, it's not going to be the first part of the year. It's not going to be the first half of the year. It's probably after July, going towards the end of the year. So it's probably we're going to be our launch window for the Father's Story, given how we have to get the music and a few more things. We have to do some polish and a lot of testing and such. So we're going to be doing that in the first little half of this year, and then the rest of the year we're going to push towards the launch. So that is pretty much the chatter on that. Most of the blog report, we're talking about what we've done on the engine side of things and trying to switch over to Unity. We're also discussing something about what's happened with Tyranno during the last probably year or so. Mostly the last year, I'd say 2 years is when they started. But there's a lot of these little small dev groups at the moment. Strikeworks, the main developer, Strikeworks, decided to just walk away from the Western devs. Some of these other groups decided to pick it up. And one of the first groups that we became aware of was the VN Effector group. It's a Russian team that's or developer that's trying to save the Tyranno engine. And his first version was in Russian and such. It wasn't translated English yet. So we were at the time we were looking at that and thinking, that's probably not going to work for us. And it was still in a very rough state. So we just kind of let's shift more, look at REMP, look at Nanny Novel and things like that. And thing is that we've been watching it, we've been paying attention to it, and we've made updates that they have been making good improvements. And now all of a sudden, I'd say within the last few months, there's just been like an explosion of devs that are taking interest in the Tyranno engine, and they're trying to save it. They're trying to see VN Effector comes in a quasi-legal thing because it's not really done with permission by the Japanese devs, but they're not really going after them or anything like that. So we don't know what the legalities are on that. There's also the others that are trying to mod Tyranno, so they'll actually have like a Steam Workshop modding page where they're modding the engine or fixing it up. They're making it do the things that it was going to do. It had the Strikeworks devs decided to continue pursuing and getting things done. It's encouraging. I'll just say that much. After dealing with Nanny Novel and inputting the father's story during the last year and such and getting everything in, it's using Nanny Novel versus Tyranno. There is a night and day difference. I mean, Tyranno is so much better, so much faster. We get a lot more done with it than we do with the Nanny Novel. Nanny Novel has more robust, more like you can do more with the export. You can do more like visual effects and things like that. But yeah, it's just Tyranno is so much better of an engine for devs like us, where we're trying to build something big and huge, and we don't want to invest so heavily into like coding certain things out. And while Nanny Novel is great in the coding area, it's not that difficult. It's pretty simple to put things together. It's like there were limitations we found when we got into the code, especially when like the names of characters, you could not have a character that had two, like a first and last name. You only have to have one name in, and the only way to do like first and last name was like, you had to do this like little coding trick through like the character references, and then and you tell it to cite that reference, and then it names it the full name. It was a pain in the butt, to be honest, and it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, we could do that in Tyranno so much easier, simple things like that. But again, we're also looking at the content additions of that. So are we going to backtrack again and go back to like a Tyranno-based engine? I mean, anything's really possible right now. We have to put the at this point, we got to look at Dust and Air as like what is going to be the best for getting this story released, getting it out. Nanny Novel is an option. We do have our little converter program that we built to help transition KS files into Nanny Novel files. We haven't released it yet. We've still had some issues we're waiting to get ironed out. But yeah, it's just one of those things that keeps on sending us back to keeping an eye on these groups, seeing how their progress is going, and then figuring it out as we go. There's also the question of what other engines are going to be coming out in the next few years, and we all look at what Musk has been talking about. If you're paying attention to X, and he's been really targeting the gaming industry and like saying, hey, I mean, you guys could be doing this a lot more optimally if you did the AI stuff. And this isn't something that we've been aware of. A lot of game devs are like, no, we'll never use AI. Oh, evil. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's coming, guys. It is coming no matter whether you like it or not, because you can tell it to code a game engine. As long as it knows what it's doing, it's going to do it like that in an instant. And all you have to do is debug it, which is going to be a lot less effort than what we had in the past. So, I mean, we got to look at that aspect and what is coming in the future. Could we literally tell it, like, here's the story, Destinaire, build a game engine, build a visual novel around it? The AI would be just like, boo, and finish it within a day, and then we just have to patch it up within a week. That is very well highly possible. So it's a brave new world that's coming, 2025 in the days ahead. Content creation is one thing I look at. I see it going to a point where a lot of these big AAAs and these big major publishers, they're going to have trouble competing with the indies on a major level, because people are going to be able to get more experience with AI and having to do stuff. They'll be able to build games that are going to like put the AAAs out of business, because for one, AAAs, they don't know how to innovate that well anymore. They just rehash story after story after story. I know if you're a gamer, I'm a gamer, and that's one of the problems in the gaming industry and Hollywood, is like they don't know how to make original content anymore. They just rehash. We gotta remake this again. It's like, well, it's been remade like 3 times now, and now they're remaking it again. It's stupid. So this is why it's exciting going into 2025 and seeing what's going to happen this year and the years ahead. We are definitely keeping a close eye on it. So, yeah, it's overall this year, 2024 was is very positive. There were some setbacks and some slowdowns. It's just a lot of stuff that we've had to deal with as a remote studio, and we send out the jobs, we get stuff done, we're like, oh yeah, we're going to get this done, and then something happens. It's something to always be aware of. If you're starting your own dev studio or starting your own dev team, is like, if you can try to do it locally, it's really great, because then everybody can get together and you can kind of encourage each other. But when you're doing it remote, it's a little bit more harder than that. So yeah, overall, we're excited about things to come. I mean, this year ended up being better in many ways than we hoped it would be, except for we lost the office cats, a bunch of them, because of that poisoning incident back in July. We do have a new one around here. It's a little rag doll. He gets into everything, brings a lot of joy to everybody. But yeah, we still miss Pudge. We definitely still, Pudge left a hole in us, and we're going to be definitely including him in stories and games in the days ahead. There will be a Pudgy in just about everything we make in the days ahead. So I don't know if he's going to be in Father's story unless we insert him, because this was after we finished most of the story work there. But as far as the rest of dev goes, one positive note, we mentioned a couple months ago, Ingrid was doing some work on character models for Destinaire and such, and because she's expanding in key image work as well, we're going to be officially making it so that she is going to be transitioning over into development on Destinaire for models, key images, and maybe backgrounds. We're kind of seeing how she's going to be doing in the days ahead background work. We will go ahead and show some teaser models of some of the stuff she's already been doing for us, and this is a few ones for Destinaire. Some of the characters. This is one of the barons and such who is coming in chapter 3 or 4, I believe offhand. It's hard to remember, but yeah, he's going to be eventually seen. Then we also have a concept now coming for Gwen's dad. If you know in the story, her dad's been through quite a bit, and so Ingrid whipped up this concept of him. And we also have another potential baron or one of the officer contents that is going to be added. I think this guy's going to be seen probably around the same chapter as we see this character, but then he's more of a secondary character. He's not as major. And then we have another one that's going to be more prominent within the first 2 chapters. Well, the second chapter into 3rd chapter is this little airship pilot. Name is Vince, is his character name, and he will be showcasing later. So that said, that's kind of a little teaser rundown of some of the stuff. You can tell that her artwork is kind of transitioning in closer to Georgie's style. We want to try and do it so that as Georgie's working on stuff, she's working on stuff, and the models look similar enough. They're not going to be too different that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's how could they pick somebody that this model's really good and this model's really So we're working on that, make sure they're as similar as possible, so that you'll probably be able to tell the difference, but most regular people will be like, oh, it's just maybe a little bit of an art change here. No, we get in the best possible options we can for that, and yeah, I think that's about it. That wraps up this year-end report. Busy month coming into January and the rest of this year. We're very hopeful. So wish everybody a happy new year. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the skies. Bye.